Okay, so we'll just jump right in. And to start us off, we have from Greece, Athens, Greece, Sifu Dimitris Zirou and Spiros, I hope I'm pronouncing everybody's names right, Spiros Boviatsos Sensei. Dimitra Sifu has been practicing Tai Chi and Qigong for 27 years, teaches mainly in Athens, occasionally in Spain and Europe. She's a Yudansha in Aikido, and they both train in Aikido and Iaido. Dimitra is also an amazing environmental filmmaker. She works with doctors of the world doing healing and empowerment work with women victims of trafficking. And Spiro Sensei is third dan. He's been training in Aikido for 20 years and Iaido for 12 years. He runs the Aikido Zen Center in Athens. And I just do want to say that we know all these people from our Training Across Borders programs, Aikido Middle East Project, Budo for Peace, Martial Arts for Peace, and the Peace Camp Initiative. So, welcome.
Hi.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to split into the 3-4 minutes between me and Spiros. And I just wanted to say regarding the questions that here in Greece, we also experienced the lockdown like in other countries of the world. So we are just sharing this experience with the rest of the world. And the question that you asked, Jamie, about how the practice in Aikido has affected, in what way it has affected our lives and what we are experiencing. I think that the first thing that comes to mind is that both from my practice in Aikido and Tai Chi, one basic thing that we're training is when something comes at you is to start and keep your spirit together, your mind together, not react to it like crazy and just deal with fear and keep your center and move with it, not just freeze and react to it. So that's something that through the years it has passed through the body, mind, and I think this is, when I was thinking about it, I think this is the first thing that is really helped my practice has helped, is not to panic with fear, not to keep your center, keep your spirit together, and be able to help yourself and possibly help other people, your family and others. And before passing the word to Spiros, who owns his own dojo, since our sensei passed away here in Greece a few years ago, Spiros has done a big effort and he has opened up his new dojo in Athens, the Aikido Zen Center, and I train there at his dojo since our sensei passed away. So I pass the word to Spiros Boviatsos. Thank you all. You have to unmute.
Yes.
yourself.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you very much, and for letting me share my opinion or the way we live in Athens. So we practice with Dimitra together for so many years, and at this time, well, with our dojo, with our sensei Yannis, who's passed, we used to practice meditation, and we try to see the things with Aikido in the inside, not only the outside. For instance, the lockdown is not a very big problem if somebody can see it from the internal point of view, because when we stay at home, we can enjoy so many things. I enjoy my little son. We do so many things together now, and it's something like new for me, because I live with him 24 hours. It's very nice, and we learn, we practice school at home and stuff like this. Aikido has taught us to blend in and to adapt. So this is the main thing for me and for our students. We have something like Sensei Quentin is doing every Thursday. Every Wednesday and Friday we do a session. So we talk about Aikido, and the main thing is that it's nice to adapt to every situation and see the good thing in each situation from the inside, to live the moment in any situation. So this is the main thing that I would like to share with you. Thank you
Beautiful.
so much.
Thank you both. Thank you. Domo, arigato. Okay, so we're going to go to Jordan now with Aiman Almohsen Sensei. He is the adoring father, I can tell you, of 2 young children, a boy and a girl. He is the country director of an NGO that works to empower refugees from Syria, Sudan, Iraq, and other nationalities that come into Jordan. And they work through sports education and psychosocial interventions. Aiman Sensei has a special focus on helping young girls to be strong and healthy through working with them through Aikido and sports physical education. And he also attended both our training across borders in 2005 and 2015. So we'll hear about the situation in Jordan, and be interesting to hear as well about what's going on with the refugees and different groups of people in Jordan. Aiman Sensei, onegaishimasu. Aiman, are you here? He might be having a little trouble getting on Zoom, so we may go back to Aiman Sensei if he's not here. Okay, so we'll come back. We'll move to Israel now, and to Anat Ben Meir Ofer. She's a very good friend, and some training since 1989 in Israel, also in the Bay Area. She's one of my very favorite ukes I have to throw in there, throwing her. She lives in Zichron Yaakov in Israel. She works as a clinical research coordinator at the Rambam Medical Center, which is the largest such facility in central Israel. Her department is internal medicine, and it was recently converted to a corona department. So she'll be able to give us a little more perspective as well on, working in the medical field during the corona crisis. Anat, onegaishimasu. I know she's here. I saw her.
Just a second. How do I unmute? Just a second.
You are unmuted. We can hear you.
We can hear you, Anat.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you a little bit how I came across the Aikido. It's a little bit of a funny story. So as Jamie said, I'm in the Aikido world since 1988, actually. So around the age of 20, when I finished my service in the Army and started my BA studies in physical therapy, I was looking for something that might help calm the turbulent soul of a young woman. And since the world of physical activity was my domain, I intuitively felt that some kind of martial art will provide me with the right tools. So I went shopping in different martial arts dojos. I watched ninjutsu classes, capoeira, karate, and finally Aikido. And I hadn't even heard the name before, but nonetheless, the first minute into class, I knew I found what I was looking for. And then after living for 7 years in the Silicon Valley, we came back to Israel, and I made a career change and became a clinical study coordinator at the center that Jamie mentioned. After Rambam Medical Center is the largest center in northern Israel, and recently they made the largest underground fortified hospital in the world in the center. And all this fortified hospital, it has been converted to, right now, to hospitalize up to 900 corona diagnosed patients and up to 300 intubated ones. If you are interested, just in case, to see the whole place, I have here, I don't know if you can see it, I'll put it closer, the URL address. It's pretty interesting to see the work they put there. So right now at the hospital, there are 2 designated corona wards, but only 66 patients have been hospitalized so far due to corona. Only 4 have died, and at the moment we have only 6 patients, and none of them are on a ventilator. So in Israel, we are taking a lot of preemptive actions to be ready when the coronavirus struck here, and so far with pretty good results. A lot of adaptations are made, and basically the hospital is very, very quiet. All elective work was stopped, and people are avoiding coming if not absolutely necessary. And it's interesting to see how much of what we are familiar with in the Aikido world to deal with the unexpected was expressed in dealing with the pandemic here. How you need to be flexible, as you said before, adjustive, flowing, and calm, and not hysterical, and at the same time to know that you might be wrong, but not let it paralyze you, as we heard before. It was and still is a lot of trial and error. Should we go this direction or that direction? And you can't really know till you went there, since nobody was there before to tell you. Well, we did try to learn fast from other states that were hit hard, like China and Italy, or almost none like South Korea. But how the climate and the culture here will change the course of the virus, nobody really knows. So truly the confusion and fear levels were huge. But how you react to this confusion, fears, and the unknown, being calm and centered, that's actually what we learned at the Aikido world. That's what I was looking at the age of 21, and that's what I practice now in real life at the age of 53. So that's what.
Awesome. Tada, that's really interesting. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Just in the interest of time, and if you're speaking and you hear a little bell, that's what that is, just a little warning, but thank you, that was really great. So we're going to go to Turkey now, and we have 4 senseis from Turkey, and they've all participated in our Training Across Borders program. Janer Bugde Sensei, Utku Havek, Ipek Susoy, and Koksul Mus. Koksul is now living in Boston. The others are in Ankara. They've been training for many years, and Ipek and Utku are now married dancing team couple. They're amazing. And Janer also teaches there. He's very busy with his work. So let me welcome them. You guys will each have, since there's so many from Turkey, about 1.5 to 2 minutes to share with us. So welcome from Turkey.
The guys who are going to be interviewed now, you'll need to unmute yourselves, because trying to find you in a sea of 100 people is a bit difficult. So you can unmute yourselves.
I think I have.
Thank you. Well done, Rob.
Hello, everyone from Ankara.
Hello.
Hello, everyone from Ankara. As Jamie said, we met with many of you from Training Across Borders in Greece. Turkey is in partial lockdown, I think they call it, because some people are still working. But at March 16th, they closed all schools, universities, cafes, sports centers, and stuff like that. And this affected us personally, because about a year and a half ago, we opened a private dojo, and we are teaching Aikido for young people, children, youth, and adults. Also yoga, BJJ, and stuff. But since March 16th, we're at home, so we're very social distancing. And but Utku is still giving lessons via Zoom 3 times a week, and it changed many things, because we were just sitting at home, and now we can talk to people and we can share stuff still. So meeting like this is also very helpful. We try to do them on a basis with our sensei, Nebu Sensei. And it is very good to meet many people, to see them that they all in the same position as ours. That is not just our problem, but it's the whole world's, and many people are suffering from it also. And thank you for all.
Nice to see you all. It really relaxes us to see you in good shape and good health.
Yes.
We hope that to see you on tatami as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, this is Janel from Ankara again. It's nice to see you here because I know most of you from 2015 and 2005 Aiki Extension seminars. As Ipek said, there are some physical and mental effects that coronavirus issue to us. But the best thing about Aikido, I think it's, I always know that I can stand up after I fall. So this is the most important thing I learned from Aikido. So with that, I always know that I can always pass these days. So, and also, as they said again, last week we had another Zoom session with our sensei. There were 350 people at the webinar from about 15 or 20 countries, something like that. It was also nice to see the people that everybody is having similar problems. Everybody is fighting against similar things. So that made me feel that I'm not alone. So this is another thing, very important thing from the Aikido years here. Thank you.
Hello, this is Koksal. I used to live in Ankara and I used to train with Utku, Ipek and Caner in Ankara. 3 years ago, I moved to Boston for work. Now I'm teaching as a professor at the university. Anyway, so here I start my own dojo so that I keep practicing Aikido. And I'm really enjoying it here. And after this self-isolation thing, actually it helped me to survive because it helps me to work out and everything. But I think the most important thing is, besides this physical workout, thanks to Aikido, I am still in touch with people. I am still socializing. Even I isolate myself in my own house, I am still keep socializing with the people. And thanks to this big Aikido family, it helps me to, you know, not to feel alone, and then spending my days very productive. So that this was also a very good opportunity to bring people from different countries. Thanks for the organizers. I don't actually know who organized this. I just saw it on Facebook, and then I said, okay, this is the meeting that I should attend. So I'm happy to be here, and then thanks for the organizer, and thanks for everyone being here and sharing this lonely moment with us, and then not letting us feeling lonely here. Okay, thank you.
Wow, thank you all. You guys are all my hearts, and I think we're all in each other's hearts already. So thank you so much for your sharing. We'll go back to Israel, to Eitan Ben Meir Shihan, who I have known. We actually were Shodan Ho together back in the Bay Area in 1979. He is truly essentially the first founding father of Aikido in Israel. He started the first big dojo in Florentine in Tel Aviv, I think in 1982. He's a computer software engineer, lives now in Zichron Yaakov. He's the dojo cho of Aikido Carmel, and he is a very guiding force in Aikido Israel, and a dear friend and Aikido colleague I treasure. So Eitan Sensei, Shihan, onegai shimasu.
So I'm not sure I have anything interesting to say. You know, I'm like everybody else, you know, staying at home, trying to find ways to do Aikido that I didn't know about before. I just finished teaching a Zoom class about an hour ago, which was an interesting experience. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, if you pull my tongue, you know, I can talk for a long time. So I don't know if you want to do that.
מה האווירה בארץ?
I don't know. I'm looking at everything. I mean, it's an opportunity to look at the world as if it's a new world. You know, it's an important thing. I mean, we are used to looking at things as if we know them. We make ourselves comfortable by believing that everything is as we know it, and actually we don't know anything. And this is an opportunity to meet that idea really, because the world is changing around us, and we don't know how, for how long, and what will come after this. And it's good for us to be, I think, to be open to what we don't know. It's an opportunity. This is how I feel about it.
Thank you, Eitan. Spoken just like you. And very, very true. Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to welcome Talal Johas from East Jerusalem, a Palestinian East Jerusalem in Israel. He's been training for 8 years. And as he told me, he is a practicer, not an Aikido master, which I think we all share. He trains in the Old City in Jerusalem with Shahideh Abu Ramallah Sensei, who came to our very first Training Across Borders conference in 2005. And Talal, I believe, has lived some in the US as well. So welcome, Talal.
Thank you, Jamie. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. As Jamie said, I started Aikido 8 years ago, and I think I was really fortunate. It was the encouragement of my sensei, Shahideh, who is a great teacher, and we practiced twice a week prior this problem now, and this I worked also at Arab Bank. I'm a manager at the risk department. My title is middle office controller. We working several hours now in alternative buildings just to avoid the pandemic coronavirus. And thank God, my family, my neighbors, my friends around are okay. This is a mutual problem, as most of the other speakers just mentioned, and I think we are shared around the globe, and maybe that's what put us in concern about what's happening everywhere. We really worry about numbers of death or people got.
Are we having a little connectivity problem, everybody?
Can I keep on?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Aikido, and the kind of people which I really started to meet and to learn, to see how.
Jamie, I think you better move on.
Yeah, I think maybe we can come back to Talal. He's having just a little Wi-Fi issues. So we'll try to come back.
Is and which create no opponents, on the contrary, connection or what? Communication problem?
Yes.
Okay.
Some people are hearing him fine.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's so interesting what you're saying, Talal.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to move to Robin Aiki Sensei, and he is one of the leading Palestinian Goju Karate and Kobudo senseis in Israel. He's been training for 47 years, since the age of 7. He's been a physical education teacher for 30 years. He works with the Ministry of Education in Israel. He also works on the staff of Budo for Peace, which is martial arts for peace in Israel, which has been started around the time our Aiki Extensions Training Across Borders began. around 2004 or 5 with Danny Hakim Sensei. We'll hear a little more about that. But Rabin Sensei and I were recently in the West Bank. We'll talk about that together. And he runs the Aiki Brothers Dojo in Central Israel. So Rabin Sensei, welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Still a little boy.
Hi, Rob and Robert and Jamie and all. Thanks God, I am safe and also my family. A little bit worried. I have a nurse. My son is a nurse, and my daughter is a dentist. So the situation here complicated, and we are, as a parents, we are a little bit worried about that. As you know, here things here in Israel, all of things freeze here. We have no activities. The same in our dojos, in Budo for Peace dojos, and on my own dojos also. So we try to keep in touch with our students and to teach by Zoom, by WhatsApp also. We're doing the best to keep them, all of them on, you know. We are martial artists, so we should show courage, and we are models, you know. Our students, our family follow us, and they're doing things. We are so important for them. So if you are a models, you should be a good models. We should show courage and all the time search to change things. We didn't give up. We didn't give up. Personally, is my important thing is to keep touch with my students and to keep practice, personal practice. So I practice with my two sons here, Sanad and Karam. All of them, two of them, Sanad is Nidan and Karam is Sandan. We are daily have practice together. So the things it's not you know, we didn't know what will happen here in Israel. Also in schools, in the Arabic sector here in Israel, that's what I live, the corona increased in the last week. So people afraid here. So people didn't go out homes here. That's a situation. We all the time try to adapt ourselves to the change. And that's it.
Excellent, thank you, and Abriyo to the good health of your family. Yes, Rabin is yes, you have amazing family. So Rabin, in working with Budo for Peace, Budo for Peace is mostly youth programs and has kind of paired Arab Jewish martial arts schools, mostly karate, but we are kind of the Aikido branch or arm of Budo for Peace. We do many trainings together. Thanks to Robert Ken Sensei, who is here and keeping time. He is the president of Aiki Extensions for many years now. We've been working together. He founded the Peace Camp Initiative. We are in we were going to be in our, I think, 12th summer, 11th to 12th summer. We bring Christian, Muslim, and Jewish kids from the Middle East in Budo for Peace programs to one of the oldest summer sports camps in America every summer. So we're going to hear from some of our Peace Camp alumni who've been in recent years, and Rabin Sensei's sons have been there as well. So Shadi Hijazi, I hope, is here. He's 17 years old. He's a high school senior in the Palestinian town of Tamra, where I've been fortunate to visit and teach in northern Israel. This is his 13th year out of 17 practicing Shotokan Karate. He earned his black belt at age 16, and he's part of Budo for Peace programs and went to Peace Camp in 2016. He has started his own group of little karate kids, and they are continuing to train now during the coronavirus on Zoom. So welcome, Shadi.
So hi everyone, how are you doing? looking at the circumstances now with the coronavirus thing and the quarantine. So, you know, as a student, now we are sitting at home and we don't have to work. You know, I closed my store. I own a cell phone store. I closed. I can't work. The coronavirus in my town is increasing incredibly. 2 days ago, we also lost a great woman from our town. So we've been trying to make things positive in our town. For me, as a karate teacher also now, we've been making Zoom sessions for the little children, you know, to just, it's a new thing for children to learn just to train karate next to a PC or cell phone. You know, it's just a great opportunity for them to see something new in this situation. And also we're trying to keep the positive vibes up and to cheer the boys and children, you know, that's just, there's hope, just don't give up. And yeah, everyone is taking care of each other. No one's getting outside the doors or things like that. No one's walking his dog. And yeah, everything's fine now. We are taking control of everything here.
Excellent, Shadi. And your English is so awesome. Wow.
Thank you, Sensei.
Hey, Us. Malak Daburi is 19 years old. She also lives in Tamra and trains with Mahmoud Hagazi Sensei, who is a main Budo for Peace partner as well, who is, I understand, currently in quarantine there in Tamra for safety's sake. And Malak has been a karate student training at the Tamra Center since she was 5 years old. So I want to welcome Malak. If Malak is here.
Rob, have you managed to find her?
I haven't. I've been looking. I've got 3 screens to work through. The software that bounces people between screens depending on how much noise they're making or something. And
well,
so
you keep looking for Malak, and I'm
right.
going to invite Russell and Ryan to hold until we find Malak.
Okay.
We'll go to the West Bank, and Ryan Tuhol is, I believe, 14 or 15 now. She's a karate student in Tulkarm, which is in the West Bank. Last summer, she and Jafar, who is here, were our very first youth from the West Bank to join the Peace Camp delegation of Arab and Jewish martial arts for peace kids who come to a peace camp. They were chaperoned by her sister Rosal, who is also here. And Rosal works with the Project Common Bond from Tuesday's Children, which is a program that helps young people heal from trauma who have lost a loved one to terror or violence. So they are just such beautiful souls. And I just want to welcome Rosal and Ryan right now from the West Bank.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm gonna say I'm really sad because everything is closed, and yeah, I'm enjoying my time with my family, and yeah.
So, hey everyone, it's our pleasure to be in this meeting. So, as everyone knows, so as the one who's studying in, I am a student. I'm a computer engineering. So I have so much classes, online classes. So I'm trying as much as I can to spend like every specific minute in my life. So so we are now like everything here is totally good. Because the Prime Minister in Palestine, he took control from the first injured here in Palestine. So, so thanks God we are fine. And yeah, I guess this virus, like it's like a shoot for the world. Like the world becomes so much selfish, and they care just about money. So it's time for us to go back to God and to go back to ourselves, to think back, and yeah, I hope we get back, we can meet like in reality, all of us. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. From Tulkarm, I also just would like to have Karen Abuzant maybe say hello, and Jafar if you are here. Karen, just so you know, our connection to Tulkarm, Karen runs the Peace Education Center that she created in Tulkarm, and she teaches English and prepares Palestinian youth there to participate in all kinds of peace programs, teaches English also for kids to go to the university in Nablus. She is a tremendous partner in peace. She grew up in Ohio, married a Palestinian man who I have a crush on, Jasser, and they raised their 5 children who are now grown in the West Bank. So if you just want to say hello, Karen, and Jafar, maybe a quick hello, who is a star athlete and is a peace camp participant.
Remember to unmute yourselves. Well done.
Hello?
Yeah, Karen, hi.
Karen. Now I'm not going to talk if you have a crush on my husband. I'm sorry, but
Karen, can you just tell us a little about what's going on with COVID in the West Bank and maybe in Gaza?
well, like Russell said, actually, the PA did a pretty good job of shutting things down from the very beginning, from the first cases in Bethlehem, and they've been good at testing and keeping things closed, and for the most part, people are going according to plan and taking it seriously, which is really good. We've had a few incidences of some workers that work in Israel, and they come back with the virus. This is why it's still going on. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't really have it going on anymore, because the cases that came from Greece actually were controlled in Bethlehem. But then the workers coming back from Israel came back with the virus, unfortunately. Some of them were very good about it and went home and put themselves under quarantine, and some of them didn't. So, you know, because you have young men, they want to get out and they want to be with their friends, and that's understandable, but we have to care about others, not just ourselves. But and that's going on all over the world. And we sit here and we watch TV and we see what else is going on all over, and we can say, thank God we don't have it bad here, not like the other places. But I have students that are in Spain and other places all over the world, and I really worry about them. They're there studying like for a semester, and it scares me, because they have to be there, and they're alone as well. It's not like here, thank God I'm with my family, but they're not with their family, and they're alone, and they're secluded, and it's not a very nice situation. I'm really trying to keep things going, and I want to start classes on Zoom, because number one, I'm bored, and number two, when you take this hiatus, it really impairs studying English. This is for sure. And also, I want a way to keep everyone connected. So now that I'm getting the Zoom thing down, hopefully I can keep up with that. But we had Rabin and Jamie here just a couple of months ago, and the kids just loved it. They had such a good time, and it was such a connection, and I really hope that we can keep it up.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen, and thank you for all you do. Yeah.
Thanks.
Jafar, do you want to just say a hello, a minute? If you're here, I think you're here. You have Jafar? Maybe. Let's see. Maybe not. Okay, well, if we see Jafar later, we'll bring him back. So we're going to go to Kenya now. And Francis Wachira is here. He calls himself Tiger Frank on his Facebook, which I just love. And he is a school teacher. He's the proud father of a beautiful 2-year-old son. They live in Nairobi, Kenya, which has been quite in the news for some things in relation to COVID. Maybe he can share. He's been training for 9 years. He received his black belt last year at the Dawn test in Ethiopia with Tesfaye Tekelu Sensei, who will join us later. And he has 2 dojos, Karatina, he has 20 students, and the Mangu dojo, which he has 30 young students. So welcome, Tiger Frank from Nairobi.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, my full names are Francis. I'm Washira. Currently I'm 30 years old. I started training when I was 8 years, but I started with Taekwondo, and I did much of training of many martial arts before I landed in Aikido. And I loved Aikido because of the knowledge of that it gives someone, and what it entails about self-discipline and much more in that. Much of it, the other part, I love. I have been training Aikido for the past 9 years. But last year is the time I did my test. I've been training without doing the test because of here in Kenya, Aikido has been introduced some few years ago, and we currently did not have a dojo, but through Tesfaye Sensei, he has introduced Aikido also here in Kenya, and we are moving on establishing Aikido in much parts of Kenya. About COVID-19, currently in Kenya we have 225 people who have been confirmed, and 9 who have died, and 52 who have been discharged from, who have been cured. What I love about Aikido, what Aikido has given me or has taught me to is to remain calm and to know that there's an assurance of diverse or something to divert my mind out of this pandemic. Because when you think about it so much, you get into stress and you get into you think that the world is ending. But when you are trained, or when you know about Aikido, and when you know that there's still hope of tomorrow. So thank you, and I hope to share more and more some other time.
Thank you. How is your family?
My family is quite okay, and my son and my brothers and sisters, and also my students are all okay. We have been keeping in touch through WhatsApp because Zoom is a bit complicated here because of the network. So I've been contacting them through WhatsApp video, and others we communicate through calls.
So you have
okay. Yeah.
The government controls the Wi-Fi. Yes, you don't always have Wi-Fi there, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So from Kenya, we're going to Tanzania. A very good friend of Francis, and that is Mohammed Mudi Matu Sensei. I want to welcome him from Dar es Salaam. His native tongue is Swahili, and Francis may translate if we need from Swahili, but we'll see. And Mudi Sensei has been training for 13 years under Katsuta Sensei from Japan. He runs the Bagamoyo Aikido Club and the Scorpion Aikido Club, and is a wonderful Aikidoist, and I've gotten to be a little bit in one of his classes, and they have a lot of seminars in Tanzania. So welcome, Mudi Sensei. Is Mudi here, Francis? Oh, good. Yes.
No. I think Mudi has not yet come. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. He might have had trouble getting on Zoom. We'll see if that's true. I want to circle back to the Peace Camp kids and in Israel. And I want to welcome Tali and Mayan Hakim. And they're the daughters of Paul Hakim Sensei, who is one of the Hakim Achim, which in Hebrew means the Hakim brothers. So Paul Sensei and Danny Sensei, of course, are the main people. Danny founded Budo for Peace. They, as far as I know, grew up in Egypt and Australia, and then immigrated to Israel some years back. Tali has been training in karate for 7 years. She's a second Q brown belt. Her sister Mayan has been training for 5 years and is a brown belt, third Q, and they, of course, train under their uncle and their father. They've been to our peace camp in Pennsylvania, and I would like to say, Bruchot habaot, welcome, girls.
Thank you. Well, I'm just gonna say it's a very frustrating but weird situation, all this coronavirus thing, and about the peace camp. I would say it's such an amazing experience, and also seeing all these people like from so many places having a common thing, and also all this coronavirus that we all mostly staying at home together, and maybe training like we have in Zoom karate training. It's very different, but it's fun though. Like it keeps us and fit, and like seeing each other, socializing, like seeing other people. It's very, yeah.
Mayan. Well, the girls have been training 3 times a week. We've been Zooming everybody. Hi, everyone from Israel. We're all in the same room, everyone in the whole wide world. So thank you, Jamie and Robert. How are you doing?
Great to see you.
It's great that we're all connected, irrespective of what martial arts or whatever. We're all one big family, and it's just fantastic being online with everyone here. It's an interesting opportunity where the situation allows us to make lemonade out of lemons, basically. We're just making, how martial arts do is to rise up to the challenge and utilize it the best we can, and make it a positive event. And that's what I know what Aikido people doing, very positive stuff. So same in the karate world here.
What are you continuing to do with Budo for Peace?
Well, we've had every week, we have the instructors meet on Zoom. We've had a recent competition with all the kids, and kids all over, all sectors. We have Bedouin children in the Negev desert. We have our friends, our Israeli Arab friends up north. We have the Jewish groups here in Tel Aviv and Renana. And we had a kata competition. Everyone gave it like a 2-minute kata. It doesn't matter what style of karate or Aikido, and a couple of judges. And the winner gets a free uniform, a gi. And actually one of the kids got it down south in Beersheba, and he donated it to one of the kids up north who generally don't have enough money to afford one. So we've seen some really nice generosity coming out of this as well.
That's awesome. Can you just tell us also a little bit about Hazem Sensei and his Bedouin dojo, which is thriving, and he's been a very strong, active partner in Budo for Peace, and also one of the girls came to peace camp. So just share a little bit about people don't know about the Bedouin, I forget the name, Bedouins of the Desert or karate champions of the desert.
Yeah, okay, so we have several 100,000 Bedouins in Israel, and basically they've been training with Budo for Peace since the onset, from the beginning, like for 10 years ago. They made their dojo out of mud. It's quite amazing that the kids actually made their dojo out of mud, and the way they light up their dojo is they've got the car engine outside, and they connect it, and they've got one light bulb which lights up the whole dojo. So we're like brothers, yeah? So we actually train with them. We sleep over there. They make their beautiful dish, the molachei and the hummus, and great times. We have great times together. And, we're training in the dojo, and you see camels walking by. It's just an incredible situation here. But again, martial arts without borders, we're all one cultural harmony together. It's quite beautiful. So Hazem has been at the forefront of teaching many Bedouin children around the area, not just in his specific region south of Beersheba, but also right deep in the desert of the Negev Desert. Yeah.
I just want to mention, I was fortunate some years ago, we all traveled together with these guys, the Hakim brothers, Hazem, and we went to Jordan together, and we taught with the Royal Jordanian trainers of the Royal Jordanian national victorious karate champions. And so there's some of the cross-borders experiences are really quite amazing.
Remember, we actually trained some Syrian refugees, some children from Syria who had a difficult time and ran away from Syria. So it was just wonderful doing these beautiful things.
Yeah. And and we all have such opportunities to be together. I know for myself as a Jewish woman, part Israeli, to get to teach in karate schools and with Muslim and Christian Arabs and Jews and everybody together. It's you can't help but have your heart open. On that note, I'll just share one quick thing. After one of our training across borders conferences, I was in the home in Amman with a sensei whose parents were actually refugeed in the 1967 war. And I was like the first Jewish person, he said, who'd ever been in their home. And he said, you're making our life so difficult. We like to hate and now we can't. And I think that is the experience that we have so much when we get together, and that we have that vehicle through our martial arts to get together and to well, not right now we can't, but to touch and to hold hands and to punch and grab and roll and fall and do things together, learn together, bow in equal respect. So that is really what the martial arts allows us to do. Thank you, and Danny for and all of you for your Budo for Peace work. I believe Mohammed Al Said Omar Sensei is here from Egypt. Did I see you, Sensei? I hope that was you. We're just meeting for the first time. He's getting on Zoom for the first time. Or else that was, I'm also meeting Moody Sensei. I saw somebody. Just going to give a minute to unmute yourself or be here.
I just unmuted Mohammed Sensei.
Oh, good. Okay. So Mohammed Sensei lives in Cairo, and he began training in 1980 with Kumaga Shihan from Japan. He runs the Egyptian Aikido Center and the Egyptian Aikido Association. His son Abed El Rahman is Sandan. Yusuf is Shodan. I really want to welcome them. And I, for myself, am just meeting for the first time Mohammed Sensei, thanks to Noah Lamden, who teaches and trains in Jaffa in Israel. I had asked her to speak, and she referred me to Mohammed Sensei, so welcome.
He's not got any video.
Does he have audio? I
yes,
think I see
audio.
him.
I unmuted him. If it's Mohammed Idris.
I'm afraid no. That's one. Mohammed Idris is one of the pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, there's only one Mohammed on the call.
Oh.
Yep.
Mohammed just told me he's having trouble. So I'll just.
No, will you speak, Bimko?
Well, I hope he'll join soon. I can just say hello and thank you everyone for sharing and being here.
Can you tell us a little about what you do in Jaffa and what the situation is? It's very cross-cultural, I know.
We're a very small dojo. I don't know what really to say.
Or how you know Mohammed Sensei from Egypt?
Well, we just met in Japan, in Iwama, this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was really nice meeting them over there, the Egyptian group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, and for the connection. We hope that. Yeah, well, we hope so too. So let's go to a different part of the world, to Brazil. We have several people from Brazil, and first, I just Jose Bueno Sensei. We didn't really plan so much, but I know you're here. If you'd like to say hello, Jose has been quite a partner in training across borders. He's been to both of our big conferences in 2005, 2015. He does just incredible work, and also ran for many years a dojo in the favelas of Brazil. So Jose Sensei, if you're here and want to say hello, that would be terrific. Yes. Thought I saw that he was here.
He was here, but he doesn't appear to be here now.
Okay, well, so that is Jose Bueno Sensei. We hope maybe he'll come back. But I just saw Vitor Mitamura Sensei. So Vitor, welcome. Vitor has been training since 1999 and teaching at the Aikido de Via Dojo in Sao Paulo, Brazil, under the technical supervision of Dutra Sensei, 7th Dan, and they're connected to the USAF. Vitor is leading a project to produce and distribute masks to frontline medical people in critical areas throughout Brazil. They need like 100,000 masks. They've been raising funds using 3D printers and have already, I think, distributed maybe 20,000 masks. He's doing amazing work. He's just and he's the uke everybody wants. So we got some great folks on here. And Vitor, afterwards in the chat, maybe you can put your website for your masks, but please share with us. Welcome.
Hello. Glad to see you all here. Just to know, I have 1 minute and a half or 3 minutes, because I see Yuri and Sandra also. I don't know. Well, Sensei Robert will ring the bell, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's very good. I'm seeing a lot of friends from Brazil also here in the conference, and friends from Greece, Janet and Kosal, and everyone that I miss a lot to practice. Well, things here in Brazil are, my point of view, it's really tough. We have a president that is, it's not a good leader at all. It's not helping us to act as a unit, to prevent ourselves, and the hospitals are getting crowded, and we have some laws that make it slow for them to buy equipments and protect the health professionals. So my main work is to work as a consultant as to social business, and because of this, I have a considerable network of projects and social entrepreneurs. One of them were making these masks, and I was in my first week of quarantine and kind of getting agitated, like, what can I do? What should I do? I think one thing that I learned meeting you guys in Greece, that we are all very connected with our bodies, and for me, it's not easy to stay quarantined in my apartment. So my mind was like, I have to go to action. I have to act to do something. And I started researching this kind of how to produce this mask. I'm producing like for 2.5 weeks now. Not yet reached this 20,000 masks that Sensei Jamie said. We're still in the 3,000 masks production. But I rally with some friends, and that's it. We're producing, and we're gathering money very fast. And I think the connection with Aikido for me is this one letter of O-sensei really struck me, that all Aikidokas were supposed to be good agents, like in that context of post-war, where he see imbalance of physical and spiritual worlds, the Aikido practitioners could be good agents of balancing these things. And I really think that we can be very important in all these things that were mentioned before about falling and rising. And as we rise, what we'll see and what we'll do in all this conflict and mess that we're seeing in the world as an unknown future. And I think Yuri wrote a beautiful letter also telling about the future. that it's unknown. But as an Aikido practitioner, we're training to be present. And to be present, I think it would be a very good weapon, a good resource to have to help other people and help everyone that we can. The
Thank you
Aikido
so
community,
much, Vitor.
it's kind of a mess. Everyone is trying to do what they can, and it's good to see all the guys here. I'm teaching online also, but and for this, it's very important. Not so much for me the physical thing, but the group thing. We are a community, and I have to keep my 20 students connected because we realized so many things happen when we meet, not only the practice, but after, when we talk, when we hug, when we look in each other's eyes, and all this makes a lot of, we miss all these things. And I'm working on it, how to do it online classes, like a white belt again, and it's positive. And
thank you, Vitor. Thank
more
you.
important to keep them together. Sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you. And it's amazing to see that how many senseis in all these countries are able to use technology and use Zoom and WhatsApp to stay connected. And we all have that desire to physically be together, but the social connection and keeping up our training, our philosophy is so amazing. So also from Brazil, we have Yuri Hazaz and Sandra Casaleto. They live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. They are married and just the sweetest power couple ever. They've trained for 2 decades and taught. They've had 4 dojos. At least 5 of their students now have their own dojos. They are focused more on nonviolent communication and incorporating verbal and physical Aikido into their very many peacemaking programs and retreats that they lead in Brazil and in other countries. So welcome to Yuri and Sandra.
Hi, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
And hi, everyone. I will let Yuri speak. I will stay quiet.
Sandra, I said I want to hear from you. You can't be
no,
quiet.
you said what I was going to say. I was going to say that we've been practicing the verbal Aikido mainly these days and holding spaces online on Zoom. And yeah, so Yuri can speak more.
Yeah, the way we've been integrating Aikido to our nonviolent communication facilitation work, and also working with other processes, working with groups all over Brazil and in over 11 other countries around the world, including initiatives in the West Bank. And the thing is that now in this crisis, we just thought, okay, how can we be of service? So what we've been doing is, for different groups, we've been holding space where people can come in and check in and look into each other's eyes and hear each other out. And we've been also holding open groups for the general community. And now we've in the middle of organizing an initiative of we've invited out of all of our students, whoever wants to volunteer to offer empathic listening to frontline health workers that are going to still suffer the boom here in Brazil. We haven't reached that point yet, but we know that stress response and trauma can be very deeply supported and transformed with some good empathic listening, holding empathic space for people to unload, to be heard, to feel they're not alone. So this is where we are right now. We're organizing this initiative, and hopefully we'll be able to make some contribution. And just thank you, Jamie, for bringing all of us together. It's wonderful to hear everyone from different parts of the world. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you. It's really my honor and pleasure. All of you are so amazing, and the work that people are doing. So thank you very much. There are people doing relating nonviolent communication. You certainly are leaders in that. David Weinstock Sensei, who's up in Washington, and Luke Archer, I want to mention him. He's in Ireland and France. He is conducting weekly verbal Aikido training, so that's something that everybody can look into. I think he's putting that in the chat. Vitor has put his masks project into the chat, so please do that. We have a few more speakers from Poland, from Ethiopia, and hopefully from Egypt, we'll see. So before we do that, if you want to start thinking about any questions, you could write them in the chat, and Quentin will keep an eye on that. So now I want to welcome Jamie Zimron Sensei from Poland. He's 5th Dan. He runs a very big dojo, over 100 practicing members in Warsaw. Joined me in Ethiopia when we did some great trainings and a summer camp in Hawassa several years ago. And we met at, I didn't mention, Quentin runs an Aiki Extending conference in England. It was supposed to be every other year, and this fall, which may be online, we're not sure yet. But so these are the ways that we have all connected, just the way we are now. This is how I know, and we all know each other. These are really important connections. So Szemek, I also want to say, is on the managing board of the Polish Aikido Federation. He is a leadership consultant and a change facilitator for individuals, teams, and organizations. He works with executives and top management in Europe. And welcome, Szemek Sensei.
Thank you, Jamie. I've written down a few steps I want to go through to make it sure I go through the 3 minutes. So first of all, Jamie, thank you for the personal invitation. You reached out. Thank you also, Quentin, to putting this on. Robert Kent for Aiki Extensions. This is just a hard blossoming thing you're doing. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank also Josh Gold for opening the materials of Aikido Journal. My students really appreciate that, and every week they have a great time watching it. It's great stuff. So, and all other friends, I just won't list everybody. Besides Gertrude, the dog, Dan's dog, I have to mention her, of course. And so, as for coronavirus and Aikido, it's I mean, Aikido is a really big support that I personally have, and I think my students also have, and it gives us opportunity to practice the appreciation of the little things that we don't usually appreciate, that are just available at our hands, open hands, every day, every moment. But once you lose the possibility of touching that, you start to realize how important those little things are. So that's one thing. And as for Aikido itself, I've been doing it for over 30 years, and just the calmness that comes in front of unknown, I think is, for me, the personal, one of the biggest benefits from the daily practice. But then I really want to emphasize the benefit of the community and that we're having together as Aikido practitioners. And in our dojo, we run Zoom classes. And I think besides, I mean, practicing together is probably just an excuse just to say it in this way, but being together and sharing, venting and sharing our frustration or fear or anxiety or whatever, I think in an understanding community, and VC was mentioned, I think it's one of the key elements. The Aikido is a physical and psychological expression of also of NVCs, and that brings both things together. So being together, and we also hold a virtual party every week, that we meet together with a glass of wine or a glass of beer or a glass of coffee or tea, whatever, and we just hang in there together and talk about everything, because we're more than just practitioners on the mat. We share our lives together. And as far as the situation in Poland, we've been, I think, all the stuff that our government has actually screwed up. I think personally, I'm sorry, it really sucks. But one of the good things that really did good is to close down Poland, and it closed the border. And for like business-wise, it was dramatic. It is dramatic, and the outcome will be dramatic further on. But I think that's one of the reasons we have the lowest coronavirus infections, confirmed infections in Europe. Although I do have some suspicions if we're really learning the truth, but that's like manipulation media. But anyway, I think it's not that bad. So I can criticize my government for most of the things, but closing down the borders and making sure that we're set down and closing up the schools, which is dramatic for my Aikido as for strictly practicing part. But I think as for dealing with the virus, I think it's a good response. So, and what I will say at the end is what I'm becoming more and more aware of. What I miss is just the human physical touch with other person. And although we can do a lot of great stuff through Zoom, I would love to hear from what other people do, what I can share, etc. What I'm really missing is like being thrown, just the physical contact and the touch from other people. So that's it. And once again, thank you, Jamie, for pulling this off. This is just a phenomenal event you're doing.
Mm. Thank you, Shemek. Really, I think we all miss sweating. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Tesfaye Tekelu is here, Sensei. He is originally from Hawassa, Ethiopia. He is living in Oakland. He also travels to North Africa and Ethiopia quite a bit. He founded the first ever dojo in Ethiopia in Hawassa, and the Aikido Association of Ethiopia. Founding member of the one of the directors of the East African Association. We first met in 2005. Just so you know, the founder of Aiki Extensions, Professor Don Levine Sensei, who passed away about 4 or 5 years ago, unfortunately, but he left an amazing legacy. He was the most internationally renowned Ethiopian scholar. Tess grabbed his wrist one day, and Tesfaye was involved with an amazing youth circus and AIDS education, just amazing, physical and educational stuff in Hawassa. And he grabbed Don's wrist, felt Aikido, and got into Aikido. He's phenomenal, doing amazing work. Love him dearly, and welcome Tesfaye Sensei.
Thank you, Jamie. It's wonderful to see all this Aikido family from all over the world. This feels like also the time that for the first time I went out of Ethiopia. Don invited me or coming to my country and be able to introduce me to Aikido. Getting an invitation letter from Don Levine Sensei and Richard Strozzi, and coming to the first seminar and also meeting Jamie, and the rest has been a history ever since. And I see a lot of familiar faces, people from all over the world who have been a family of Aikido Ethiopia and East Africa. But with the bigger Aikido family, this is amazing to connect in these times of uncertainty, but it's still distance but connected. As Jamie said, I have a dojo here. As you can see, I just finished teaching my online Zoom class. It's a Destiny Arts, which is a nonprofit that works with young people. Is in Auckland. And at the dojo, we have up to 95 students, but also I go around and work with the city, about 700-800 students in school systems. And that is also that we're cultivating Aikido and bringing to the younger generation. In terms of Aikido in East Africa, I travel 2-3 times a year. There are students now, we have 11 dojos in Ethiopia, and 7 also African countries, East African countries. In 2017, we came together and became a association, East African Aikido Association. We're in touch. As you can tell, in this time of uncertain times, what the West is telling how to stay home and how to stay quarantining sometimes doesn't translate into other places because of resource, because of culture, and because of way of life, and also the resource people can have. I think 3-4 weeks ago, we kind of had a meeting like this and kind of talked how do we, sheltering in place is not possible for a lot of people, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, where 5, 6, 7, 8 people live in the room, and to be able to quarantine at home or shelter in place, not ideal. And it's like, what is the other things we can do that kind of match the way people live their resource? And a person has to come out of the house to be able to feed their family every day. So we got the young Aikido students. Transportation is a problem. A bus has to have 30, 40 people packed to go from one place to another. What we did is we kind of looked around within Aikido communities who has motorbikes yeah, who has motorbikes, and how do we reach out to people if people are in need of food, to be able to really plan and ahead of time buy, gas for their bikes. One Aikido kid just ride a bike and drop food off and be able to stay connected. You cannot also, the internet is a problem, so you can't have a Zoom class or Zoom connection, but we have phone where, they stay in touch. If there's a problem, one kid, which is also safe to be one person on a bike and put the food and drop it off. So we're in touch every day, Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia. So we're doing whatever we can to stay safe and pass this time. We also talk, young people here in Auckland and also in East Africa, we're saying what is, if it's an Aikido, there's the chaos, but where's the opportunity? What are the openings moved in past this? What would come to fruition from this uncertain times? And so to keep one eye open, what are the possibilities that comes out of this? As a society and as a community, how do we not go back to the old system of, closing up and running away from it? How do we face and be active and then see that is possibilities that might arise in the midst from these unknown times? There was I read this beautiful article by my Sensei Strozi Heckler, about this pandemic being talked about a war because of what the history humanity has behind it. The way we are approaching is about it being deadly. Yes, it is deadly, but approaching as a war. How do we see within us? How do we take our techniques as Aikidokas and see us as the thing with us, not a war that we have to eliminate, kill, and how do we be able to see and blend with it? And it was a beautiful writing to see and reflect us as a community with my students here. I am teaching up to 7-8 classes a week online, using imaginary boken or jo, having imaginary ukes. Kids are picking it up. We're doing Schumann, people are moving out, just trying to create or come up with what is there. Yeah.
Thank you, Tess. Fabulous. And thanks for everybody here. I mean, as Robin Sensei was saying, just embracing the leadership that we all are as martial artists and also as senseis. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. And maybe that was a beautiful article that Strozi Sensei wrote, so maybe we can post it somewhere on AE, the Facebook page. I don't know if Mohammed Sensei has made it from Egypt, or Moody Sensei from Tanzania. If you have, raise your hand. I do want to say that there were several others. We had so many people already, but I was hoping we have Atif Amin Sensei. He's living in Sweden, but he's originally from Iraq. Wissam Aburai Sensei has been also originally from Baghdad. All of the Samurai Center people, our Iraqi brothers and sisters training, were refugeed basically as a result of the war. Wissam is in Canada and in Montreal, and he sends his best. We have people in New Zealand, in Bulgaria. Hana Sensei, who originally is from Kfar Yassif in northern Israel, is living in Bulgaria now. We have Bulgarian Aikido brothers and sisters who are just amazing. I was hoping they'd make it. And Sidali Saloum Sensei sends his best from Algeria. So there were many more people. We just don't even have time. But thank you, every one of you, for sharing. We only have a few minutes left, maybe 7-10 minutes. I'm certainly willing, if anybody else is, to stay longer if you want to talk. But if we might have a few of you maybe unmute, and if you'd just like to share a little bit about what this experience is like for you, and thank our speakers and all. So don't have a lot of time. Please be brief, but go ahead if you'd like to share something.
Jamie?
Go, Danny.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, Danny. Oh, excuse me. I meant to. Danny appeared. This is Danny Hakim, Paul Hakim's brother, the uncle of our two girls, and the founder of Budo for Peace, and truly my brother and partner in all of this good stuff. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you. I don't want to talk too long, but I want to thank you guys for such a great initiative It's great to see people that I've been writing to, but haven't actually seen your faces. So anyway, it's great to see you, Robert. I do want to make an announcement, and it's a pretty serious thing. I don't know if you read in the New York Times last Friday, of a person named Rami Aman that was in Gaza and did a Zoom conference call. He had 200 people just like this and was talking about the coronavirus in Gaza and wanted to share the information to Israelis. After that, he and 4 other people and my friend Manar were arrested, and they are in jail in Gaza. We are now putting together a campaign video, which should be out beginning of next week, with Bob Marley's son, and they're singing One World. And we have footage of Rami Aman in a Gaza school singing One World. And we want to share that with everyone. So anybody that wants to support a peace activist from Gaza who is involved in sport, not Aikido, but that doesn't really matter. And he was put in jail because he wanted to speak to other people, and it's about freedom, his freedom and freedom of speech. So I will send you, Jamie, the video once it's out, so we could share it. The main thing is to try and get them out of jail, and they do amazing work. It's about 200 kids between 20 and 30 years old. All they want to do is help the kids and to have peace. So I think we should all support it. That's all I wanted to say. It's great to be part of the Budo family.
On that note, I just want to say that Sensei, of course, talked about Aikido as a great way to make all human beings one family, to rely on peace, to activate our manifold powers, and to the true victory is over our own mind of discord within that sees anybody as possibly different or an enemy. And certainly COVID, of all things, is felling us all, you know, and presenting us all, as we've heard, with so many of the exact same human challenges to our health, to our well-being, to our families, and hopefully it will, and we can be part of the whole shift in consciousness and movement to really, really embracing one another as the brothers and sisters we are, working together for peace. And you know, through the martial arts, the peaceful warriors. We're not making war on this thing or on anything. We really want to heal and be healthy and well and together. In fact, the word shalom, salam, it comes from the root word that means wholeness. So thank you for being here, Danny. If anybody would like to just share a little love or appreciation or question anything briefly before we go, and again, if we have about 3 more minutes. Thank you all for being here.
I have a thought, Jamie.
Real quick, please, everybody. Real quick.
Jamie, Jerry Green, I'm really struck by how much this call has demonstrated applications of Aikido that have taken elements of Aikido. We have 3 or 4 people from the Applied Aikido Association, and we're exploring how do we do Aikido when we're not in the dojo, when we're with people who do not train, by being grounded and centered and connecting in other ways. And I feel very encouraged by this phone call.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Well, and I'm just going to say that, well, firstly, thank you everybody for being here. It's been awesome to have so many people from around the world all connected at the same time. It shows you how Aikido can put us together. These sessions take place every Tuesday, same link, different things go on, but you're all welcome to attend anytime you want to come.
You meant Thursday, Quentin.
I do mean every Thursday, 7 p.m. London time. I'm not going to say anything else. Just check what the time is in London, and that's the time it takes place. Also, if you're interested in the work that Aiki Extensions does, please go and visit the website. Connect with Jamie, connect with me, connect with Rob. Find out, add your energy to the work that we do. We can find a way of using your skills. So if you're interested, please let us know. Become a member. Just support us.
Go ahead, Jamie. All right. I just wanted to add, be on the lookout for news in the fairly near term. mostly through Jamie's work, we're putting together a bunch of curricular things for as part of Aikido University, which is an online initiative taking advantage, as it were, of the present moment, and not trying to substitute for regular practice, but trying to add resources for everybody's benefit. And Aiki Extensions seems to be developing to be sort of their everything that isn't on the mat Aikido, resource. And there'll be more news and stuff coming out about that in due course. Just be on the lookout for things from Aikido University.
So
Jamie,
on that note,
Jamie or Quentin, can you tell us if there's a way to make a copy of the chat?
I will have the chat stored. So if anyone wants the chat, just message me. You can find me on Facebook or Skype fairly easily, and I will send a copy of it to you. I'm also planning to get the recording up on YouTube as well, once I've worked out whether it can take a recording as long as this, but that's what the plan is.
And, on that note, there are really two very big main areas of Aikido. And the one is the obvious one, which is in the dojo and all of our dojo and on the mat and our techniques and our training and all of that we do and that we love so much, and that's really the basis for everything. And the other half really of Aikido is Aikido off the mat, how we take what we do in the dojo, out of the dojo into the world. We've all been talking about that, into our lives, into our professions. We are creating a whole department within the Aikido University. We fully believe that O-sensei was very much wanting us to use Aikido to bring human beings together as one family. Aikido is medicine for a sick world. The same illnesses or sicknesses that you saw 100 years ago, right, or 50 years ago around nuclear war and environmental destruction and people seeing each other as enemies and hating rather than loving and connecting and collaborating and cooperating and loving and being one with each other, helping each other, no matter what our sort of outer physical differences. That Aikido is really a generic practice for that. There are so many people, and all these senseis on this call are doing that, as well as their incredible Aikido work in the dojo, and it's so much fun to train together. But that's really what we're all about, and it's certainly time, more timely than ever, and the COVID crisis is bringing that to the fore. It does create a lot of new opportunities for us as Aikidoists and Aiki Extenders, Aiki appliers, and we're all in this together. So we're going to formally close. Maybe everybody couldn't unmute. We could all say a big domo arigato or whatever your language is. I want to thank all of our speakers so much for saying yes in a short time and being here, sharing your hearts, and everybody sharing our Aiki hearts together and our work. And again, we'll stick around for a little while if you want to chat some more, but thank you one and all for being here.
Thank you.
I'm Katia.
Thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you, Francis.
Hi, yes.
Bye, everyone.
Very much, Jamie Sensei, sending all of you love, blessing, and good energy. Thank you.
Aloha. Thank you, Gary. Maybe we'll do another one and with some of our other
Actually,
senseis. Yes. And please stay if you'd like to for a little bit, especially, anybody, our speakers, or talk with our speakers.
Okay, so if you haven't left the call, maybe you've got something, perhaps you could share what you think the value of this session was for you.
That'd be lovely to hear from people. And every speaker, you were just wonderful. Thank you for responding to the call and sharing so much. It was really, really terrific. So, but go ahead, everybody else. I'm going to be quiet.
Whoever shouts loudest gets heard. Adrian.
Thank you.
Go for it, Adrian. Someone got something to say?
Bill.
Jamie Sensei, I was just wanting to say thank you so much for bringing this together. For us, Marianne and I here in Sacramento, just really enjoyed it and really got some good resources and got to see all these great people all around the world doing all these great things. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, John, Marianne. Thanks for being here. It's great.
Thank you, Jamie.
I'm going to mute you all, and then if you want to talk, you can unmute yourself, because you can hear it's chaos.
Bill Sensei.
So, Bill, you'll have to unmute yourself. Or I can do it for you. You're unmuted, Bill.
Ahlan, was ahlan, Aikidoka. To me, this is our community, and it's not on the screen, it's behind the screen. And I love the energy that came out. So many of you spoke things that really went to my heart, and that's our community. It's a community of heart.
Thanks, Bill. I agree.
Well said. Thank you, Bill.
Anyone
Runs
else?
Peace Dojos International. Yes.
Go, Hugh.
Hugh.
Do you want to unmute? Okay.
I have done.
Thank you, Quentin. Thank you, Jamie. Very, very upbeat, but I want to address rather a critical question, or ask you to address a critical question. It does look like this virus is going to hit us in waves, and that there's going to be a very long-term impact to the social distancing and the issue of physical touch, basically, in training. There is a possibility that this is going to go on for years. And if that happens, it is also possible that a large senior section of the Aikido world won't be able to get back on the mat again.
That is a very harrowing thought for all of us SOLers, slightly olders, yeah. You know, I don't know, we don't know yet. It looks like for sure it's going to be a good, year even till we are really, who knows? So, I mean, what we do is probably the most dangerous in terms of contagion and spreading, because we are in such physical contact and breathing and sweating and, all that stuff. So, we need a vaccine, we need testing, we need many, many things until we can get back to some kind of semblance of normal. I think, there's so much really that we're just scratching the surface in a sense today, and the conditions for many people in so many countries, and we don't know what kind of spread of the disease might happen in areas where they're don't have the same abilities to have distancing, or to have even clean water, to have medical facilities. We don't even know if there's some kind of worse part of this wave coming in other countries, and some that were represented here today. Yeah, there's so much more to consider for sure.
I think the sort of where I would lead with my own statement is to say that it seems to me that there's a very great need through this kind of online activity to accelerate the transmission of knowledge from one generation to the next.
I think that's true. But I think the first thing is I would say, well, firstly, Aikido teaches us to live in the here and now, and not to worry too much about the future. I don't want to spend all my energy thinking about a doomsday scenario when I don't think it'll actually happen. The second thing I would say is, well, as we can't grab wrists, what we've really got to focus on is teaching principle, because that's the wisdom that people can pass on. And so people have to be creative and find new ways of teaching what Aikido is really all about. And actually, this is what these sessions are supposed to be about.
I find there's a fine line between kind of really being in the present, which is where we are and we really need to be. We have no idea. There's so much uncertainty and so much unknown for the future. So the fine line between really being in the present and also thinking in advance about the kinds of things that you're mentioning. There's so many things to think about in advance, and how do we kind of walk those lines and keep ourselves, calm and flowing in a very present, exceedingly present way in the moment. And I also think that these kinds of networks that we're building, and especially of very, relatively enlightened minded and hearted people and leaders, which is what we really need to consider ourselves as martial arts leaders, is so important that we're doing that work right now and helping to move into that and to create that future.
I'd like to pick on that, Jamie, because what you're saying, I think, is really crucial. Because if we focus on the past, we feel grief or regret or guilt or guilt is a choice. I mean, we can do that. But if we focus too much on the future, that brings an anxiety. But very often, if we focus on the present, it turns out that things are actually pretty much okay as they are. It's our worrying about the future, and that what brings an anxiety, and that actually really has an impact on how we function, how our immune system functions, and so being present with the current breath. I mean, if you focus, if I ask you, what was your experience of your previous breath? You probably can't tell me that much. If I ask you, what will be your next breath? You probably can't say too much about that either. But if we ask, okay, where are you in your current breath? You can be very accurate about that. And
Beautiful.
that really means reality.
Mm-hmm.
So just
thank
my
you.
3 cents.
Any others we haven't heard from, or and any speakers? How are you doing?
Just unmute yourself if you want to talk.
Hi there. This is Jacqueline from Norway.
Excellent.
From the beautiful fjords,
Mm-hmm.
which we cannot visit because it's not essential travel. So I thought I'd bring a picture to you. I'd like to pick on no, I don't remember who said this, but yeah, Tasfaya said something about opportunity. And actually, we're in the middle of a crisis. But if you define crisis as in the Chinese 2 characters that are made up of crisis, it's danger on the one side and opportunity on the other. So now we can decide which wolf we want to feed. If we want to feed the negative wolf or the positive wolf. And for me, I'm very into finding how to live in the now. What can I do now, here now, with what I have as skills and what I have as a network, and bring this out. So, and another thing I'd like to introduce is we're talking about a lot about social distancing, but I'd like to change that into physical distancing. It is a physical distance we have to manage, but when it comes to intimacy, we have a digital intimacy that we can develop right now. And this is all these platforms that we're developing now is a different kind of intimacy. Of course, we can touch each other, that's a fact, but we can touch each other in other intimate ways, in a soul, in the development, in the sharing of ideas, into developing the networks, even into bigger areas. For example, I've had a children's class today with 21 people joining because we put out information online. Even people who don't have a dojo in their own town join the class, and this is a tremendous opportunity to reach out to new segments of the population that have not had the opportunity to join Aikido classes, and all of a sudden they can. So let's not forget to focus on the opportunities, and this gives a lot of positivity back to the community.
Clear, practical thinking as always, Jackie. Thank you.
I'd like to support what Jackie said in the sense that we have resources and they are huge. And as Jacqueline and Vitor and Tesfaye all said, this is an opportunity. People are open now because they've been shocked into it as they have not been for a long time. So it would be a shame not to think about that opportunity now and in the immediate future. But I'd like to put a plug in for Paul Linden's work because I've found it, his approach to Aiki is so brief and so effective. You can be on a Zoom call with with the kids and parents in a family and make a difference in a matter of minutes. It's really well worth checking out the embodied peacemaking, Paul Linden.
On that note, I'm just going to say, yeah, Paul's work is terrific, and he's doing sessions every Saturday. I think Quentin is hosting that. And we'll put some information on something called COVID Calm, which Mark Walsh, who we know originally from Aiki Extensions, and he is, kind of doing a lot with the embodiment in the world. And so he's created a program. We have I'm joined over 100 mental health professionals who are all volunteering to do bite-size stress management for healthcare workers. And I'll type in the chat. Anybody can go there, get on one of the sessions. They start on the hour. They run about half an hour. People can stay for all 30 minutes or whatever they have. But what we do, and with centering, with breathing, with grounding, all the basics, the essentials of Aikido make it such a powerful difference, and so quickly. And they shift everything so that we can be in a clear mind and raise our emotional intelligence, feel good, calm ourselves. We really shift our stress biochemistry, our neurophysiology, and we can do it so quickly that it's amazing. I just saw Jaffer and his sister in the West Bank. Jaffer, just say hi, unmute and say hello.
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm so happy. I'm so late. I'm sorry for my lating.
That's okay. It's beautiful to see you.
Yeah, me too.
Jaffer,
hi everyone.
Jaffer should be a professional cyclist and soccer player, and he was like the absolute star athlete in Peace Camp.
Yeah. But
yeah,
not
in
now.
His town. Yeah, he wins everything in his town. He beats all the adults. He's just an amazing athlete, and you can see the beauty. And his sisters sing like incredibly there in Tulkarm also.
Thank you.
So much love in your faces. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
me too. But I broke my hand, so I can't now.
Oh no. Okay. Uh-oh. Well, that's the thing. It has time to heal, right?
Yeah.
But really, the spirit in everyone is so incredible, and the talents, athletically, artistically, leadership with everybody here. So just wanted to say hi to you guys, and anybody else.
Me too.
If you'd like to share, please do.
I wanted to add to something that Jackie said. She said that this was a time of opportunity, and how people were coming to these online sessions who wouldn't come to the mat or haven't come to the mat. And I'm always reminded that Sensei said Aikido was a way to reconcile the world. It's my touchstone in Aikido. And I always feel that he never really imagined that the world would all appear on the mat. So presumably he thought that we would be going out and spreading that message off the mat. So here's a brilliant time to be telling people about what Aikido can do without them having to come to the mat. And maybe this is something that we want to carry on even post-COVID, these sorts of sessions where we can get the message of Aikido out there.
I wanted to add, if I could, following up on the idea of opportunity, one of the more thoughtful essays I've read recently talked about how there will be all sorts of pressure to return to normal when we actually have an opportunity to go, oh, you know, when we turn the factories off for 4 weeks, the sky is green, the rivers are clean, there's all sorts of things, there's all sorts of good reasons to really fully embrace the opportunity, this moment, to embrace the possibility of how else could we be? And not just revert to, this is how it was, these are the forces at work, and they should be unchallenged.
I'd like to second that. I want to extend that to another opportunity that occurred to me, going back to our conversation and when we touched the fear of not being able to get on the mat again. And that is to open our minds to the possibility that by learning principles of Aikido, that people may well learn how to deal with an actual wrist grab that we think requires being in a dojo to learn. I was approached by somebody in the swimming pool who read books about Aikido. And he asked me, he said to me, "You look like you swim like you train in Aikido in the pool." And he got that from a book. So I think that the principles of Aikido offer great promise to what we're talking about.
Thank you, Jerry. Bonnie, yes, I was going to ask you to say something from Alaska.
If I may, Bonnie from Alaska, sorry to be late. I was actually in a Zoom class with the sensei who was giving me individualized training with the Boken, helped me to correct my form, which was, I think, part of what this group was discussing. I'm new, came back to Aikido after a while, so this is a very Shoshin perspective. I think what I feel the COVID situation now is doing that helps us is it's giving us all a fresh start of Ai Shoshin. So beginner's mind. And Shoshin, one of the characters is Kokoro, which isn't just mind, it's heart, spirit, and mind, which mind's connected to the body. So this is giving us an extreme fresh start to look at the world, Aikido, ourselves from a new perspective in a harmonious view. Not being able to train with people on the mat, it has its disadvantages with the physical aspect of Aikido, in my opinion, with the techniques, but with the principles, with the formless Aikido, the bigger picture that goes beyond just what we do on the mat, I feel that it's, for me, helping my spacing, my timeless awareness with those I'm communicating with on Zoom. So one-on-one, it's much easier with the spacing. We can practice attacks by saying, okay, I'm doing a shoman, okay, I'm doing a watershed. And you can work through the words as well as the physical actions and help, as a teacher, help the student work on their timing internally, and as a student, help to listen better. Because for me, I tend to talk more than I listen. So this situation's helping me. It does help with the back to the basics. For me, military background, going back to the basics, the KISS acronym, keep it simple, sensei. This seems to be the perfect time as a student to bring it back to what's important with Aikido. Is it important I put my finger right here when I do the initial touch for this move? Or is it important that I establish that heart-to-heart connection with my partner first as we go in to harmoniously guide Uke to the ground safely? So just, I tend to babble, apologize, almost done. I'm loving the increased awareness this individual time is giving us in the busy world, or especially as a student. Oh, did I remember the word correctly? Oh, am I late for class? Is my belt tied correctly? Can my teacher read my mind? Because I know some of them can do that. Oh no, they know what I did last summer. You know? So this situation is helping to, for me, calm down, go back to the basics, focus on that single breath. In every class we hear, student breathe. Well, we forgot how. How about inhale, exhale? You know, slowly showing how, which is something that via Zoom, the social media, I'm having a more personal experience with many senseis, with Whitehead Sensei with the Boken, with Nado and Moon Senseis via Zoom. Those are phenomenal centering Zooms. And I've been going to different dojos and experiencing different ways that different people speak to the same thing, breathe to the same thing, present the same thing. And on the Shugyo path, the spiritual forging path of trying to polish the mirror, seeing how many people react and communicate with Aikido being communication from the heart. It's helping to see myself better. It's almost like this whole situation is allowing a different transmission of Aikido instead of the physical, the bio connections. I feel that it's helping us focus more on the formless Aikido that I've read about that seems only there for the more advanced practitioners, or that they only allude to in stories of O-sensei. So forgive my ramble. Thank you for listening. I love all of you.
That was fabulous to listen to you. You could just be our teacher. That was beautiful. And I love how you emphasized kokoro, you know, really coming from the heart, and the kind of different, a complete reset, and we get, you know, you reminded me, I just want to share this with everybody. I'm a professional golfer. Many of you know that. And a student came to me a while back and he said, you know, the problem is the golf ball. It's like people make practice swings, they do all this great stuff, but then you put the ball in front of them and they just, go bonkers, you know, they can't do it because of the ball. And so he said, what if we played golf without the golf ball? And so we started to do that. We went through all the motions without a ball, but like you tee it up and you know, make your swing, practice swings, and then you know, make a swing without the ball there so you can just be fine. And then you can, in your mind, decide how far did it go, where did it go. You could make a long shot, an eagle. You could do all these great things. It's just like to play without the ball. And then we go back to the ball because, I mean, you do have to hit a golf ball eventually, but to have that kind of training. And it's almost like without having each other there to throw, you know, to do that, the throw and get into that part of it, which brings out our muscles and our egos and our reactivity and all those things. We are in this space that you just really described so beautifully of without our actual physical uke there, we kind of can step back, really go inside, as Spiros started, Sensei started to talk with us about just that inside Aikido, and to really work on the feelings and the philosophies and all the other parts of Aikido and the extending Aikido, because we don't have that other actual person there. So it's really kind of interesting. It reminded me of, you know, playing without golf without ball.
If I may just add on to that, something that came up in class recently before the epidemic, we were practicing jo removal, and the way that they were grabbing the jo just seemed confusing to me. Maybe it was what I was visualizing subconsciously, I'm not sure. So I asked my sensei, what weapon are we simulating this is? He said, oh, a spear. And I was thinking about it, and I was sweeping the mat afterwards, and it was a big wide push room, and I started spinning it. I'm like, what if I attack you with something like this to throw dirt on you? Can you take my weapon away that way? So some of the different visual ideas, if somebody's attacking you with a pencil in the office, can you do the same thing? I'm here outside right now, and I woke up this morning thinking, Aikido with a charging moose.
No.
Can you do it? So I'll just leave it with that. The different ideas
Off the
to keep
line.
it playful and vibrant as just someone who's loving the individual time. Like, thank you for sharing the golf story.
I think we have to remind you about social distancing, Bonnie. Keep away from the moose.
Sylvain, I so wanted to hear from you. Where are you and who are you?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, Aikido community. So good to tune in. My name is Sylvain Brown. I'm in Southern Oregon. I train with Michael Friedel Sensei at Ashland Aikikai. I am a novice to Aikido. I've been training for 2 years. And with this recent situation that came up, I sort of fell off of my personal practice at home recently, and it feels really good to be here and be re-inspired by all the connection and community and reminders of energy. So I'm feeling life circumstances have been unusual, of course, for all of us. But I'm feeling re-inspired to commit back to my practice that I've been continuing for 2 years. It's so good to see Bonnie, who I was just training with in Boulder, Colorado, just 2 months ago or so. Yeah, really sweet to see how small this Aikido world is, and yet also how global and wide it is at the same time. It was very inspirational to me to see all these different perspectives and different people from different cultures and languages and what their life in this time is like and in general. So yeah, thank you all for holding this meeting. It's been very beautiful and very inspirational.
Thank you. Joanna, could you say hello?
Hello, how are you? I'm Victor's student from Brazil.
Excellent.
And it's been quite a crazy times these past weeks. How many self-body knowledge I get from these online practices, from online meetings. And first of all, I keep reading a book from Jamie Zimron Sensei. He was a Belgian, and he had a dojo in Morocco and Portugal. And one thing, when I read about him, that he says that the dojo is not between walls. It's on the universe. It's on everybody. And on my first practice, I really felt that. It was just like when we gather our group back again in these online practices, I felt the same way that I feel at the dojo, at the tatami. So all of these practices have been so important for that. It's like I wake up my body memory of the movement, of the touch with each one that I practice like several times a week. Of course, we miss the contact, the physical touch. But at the same time, when we imagine this imaginary partner that, of course, we know, or somebody that we don't know, we kind of feel this energy circulate in our bodies in the practice. So it's impressive how I started to, I really believe in this universal dojo.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about hearing that I keep hearing all of you saying on our way back, how are we gonna, that I keep thinking these days, how are we gonna behave? Sorry, the clock. How are we gonna get back to the dojo, to the practice? How much care are we gonna take? We are in a slowing down move right now with all of our practices. And how is gonna be our way back? Are we gonna be more careful? How is gonna be this like touch with the other, this welcoming, this caring, this respect? We usually have some fears at the Aikido practice about hurting ourselves and stuff. Now I think we'll have to face another kind of fear about this contact back again. And I think it could be like a new, like an opportunity to connect different to our partners. To I don't know, with more slowly, more hearing the other one body. Something, a lot of things like that keeps going in my mind. And today also we had a practice for women of our group, the early morning, and when it finished, it was very special because all of us said, "Oh, we are fulfilled from our practice, from our gathering." So this is very special. I really recommend everybody that could be like only 2 people practicing or 5, 10 people. It doesn't matter. It's just feeling that you belong to a group. You feel the fulfillment, the happiness to be gathering again, the contact. And the missing of physical touch start to feel like a good missing, not a painful missing. So that's it. Thank you.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful. By the way, I'm thinking of organizing a special women's Zoom training. Yeah. Yeah. We'll put that together. Yeah, I'll let you all know, and it'll be coming up soon. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well said. Beautiful.
Bill, I've unmuted you. Bill? You are unmuted, Bill. Did you have something to say? You stuck your hand up.
Oh, no, that was just waving.
Oh, okay.
Marcos,
Thank you.
who are you? Marcos? Please say
hello. I'm from Brazil too. And I enjoy a lot the meeting, and we are like listen 3 persons. We are in the dojo here. We still practice a little bit, and we do online courses. But the mainly thing we do in the Zoom is basically this type of conversation where we listen to each other, and maybe somebody give an idea, a poem or a song or anything that touches the heart, or anything that's happening but outside the media troubles. So it's a very good practice also. So this type of conversation, it really binds us. It makes us feel very good, very connected, still connected. So thank you for the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Nikos and Laura, hi.
You are unmuted, or I'm trying. You have to unmute yourselves.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you all. We also have our friend David.
Hey everyone.
Excellent. Dave came to us from Japan, and we were hoping to have a series of seminars together, but all that was cancelled, so he's just been hanging out with us in isolation for 4 weeks.
Yeah, but we're doing kind of like online introductions to Aikido, kind of like a special kind of like school that he has been training for many years, and we're kind of like reaching out to people who may are interested. Every Saturday morning we have classes.
David,
okay, anyone interested, let me know and I can send you the link.
We have our massive garden, and we're out there every day.
So yes, kind of like we're riding the crisis perhaps a little bit more easily than others. We're lucky.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
Deborah, how are you?
Well, right now my heart is pretty much overflowing. Hearing from so many amazing people over the last 2 hours. So yeah, join in saying thank you to you, Jamie, for organizing it, and Quentin and Robert, and to everyone who's been participating. I'm just very grateful. Very, very grateful.
Wonderful you made it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. Dimitra, how are you doing? Thank you for starting us off so beautifully. And Spiros.
I just unmuted myself. Yeah, I just have been really listening to everybody here, and I feel so touched. It's so great. I want to thank Quentin and you for organizing this, and I feel so touched, especially when I see people here that I hadn't seen since 5 years ago when Aiki extended in Greece. Like Vitor from Brazil and Tesfaye and so many other people. It's so touched, and it just feels like like a global family. It just I really feel that that we are probably being asked to really see the dojo as an open space with no walls. It's like it's a time for that, because it's like times are requiring this, and it's like something has been given to us to see things this way, just to force us to guide us to practice Aikido and contact with each other in a different way than what we've been used to do. And we're open to this, and I agree with other speakers like Samek in the past that we just have to be in the now, because the future, there are endless possibilities about the future, and there's no reason to waste our energy and mind thinking about the endless possibilities of the future. We just have to stay in the now and concentrate what is the best we can do for ourselves and the world at large right now. This is spirituality, what we can do now, right now.
I think Deborah asked in the chat if this crisis changed our way of viewing Aikido or practicing, or for me it's changing. It's what are we practicing? What are we practicing? Why we practice so much? And we're also seeing a lot of online classes, senseis that are teaching, and then you can see what are they focusing on teaching online, what kind of principles. And it's interesting. It's interesting because I don't know it's happening for you guys that teach. It's a challenge for me to choose what are the things that I'm going to pass now online. So I'm trying to read more, to go back to the basics, this invisible thing that I think it was Bonnie that said, the thing that it's supposed to be more advanced, but at the same time it should be more basic. It should be present since the beginning. Why we practice? When we start the practice, what are we thinking about, right? And so I think Joanna, I have some students here, Joanna, Maria Antonia, and it will be very interesting to see how we're going to receive, how do you call it? To think again, how to give a different meaning for Aikido now. Some will continue the path, but I think most of us will rethink things. Marcos, Joanna, we are also practicing Kinomichi, that is from Noro Sensei, that was one of Fuchi from O-Sensei. And in the Kinomichi, they focus a lot on this connection of the kokoro, the heart connection, and the openness of the body, and this way of being in the world, open to be more available for the other. And then this open dojo, it's really challenging. We all of us that have I don't know how many years, 20, 30 years of practice, we will start again. We'll start again in a different mat, I think, different challenges. That's why I'm with you. It's like the guys, it's kind of Aikido, but we have to do it differently, right? The same, but different.
What's quite interesting is how this period of time has ripped away the barriers that allowed people to train in other associations. Before that was a problem, and now it doesn't seem to be. And I think it's great to hear so many people talking about, I might have to rethink what I thought Aikido was. I think it's wonderful news. I want to give a shout out to Adrian, who's on this call, because he's been created a website, a Facebook group basically, where he's been listing all the online classes there are, which I think is a fantastic initiative. And he's been visiting all the classes and finding out what they're all about, which is, I think, even better. So Adrian's originally from Romania, but he lives quite local to me. Do you want to just say a word?
Yeah, just say hello to everybody. Sorry, I was a bit late. I had my class on Zoom, and I was late for this one. And then obviously I had to tidy up and all that. So I apologize. You didn't see me really. So I really did my stuff after all. I'm so sorry I was not visible, but actually was like, I had the feeling of a very good radio program, if you know what I mean. So I put the phone in my pocket, I put the mats away, and you were with me all the time, guys. So I was just trying to see who was there, and then put it back in the pocket. So thank you for that. It's very interesting, very lots of knowledge here, and I'm very happy to see that you've creating, guys, the organizers, such a good feeling, positive feeling, and yeah, probably that's all about Aikido. It starts with positiveness, and it is a martial art, but starts with what's positive. You go to a dojo, start with, you're welcome, hopefully, yeah. So it's all good. And someone said about, sorry, I'm jumping to something else now. Someone said in this time of crisis, yeah, we need to get together, but also to go to ourselves and revisit the basics. So I think the harmony, yes, has to be with the partner, but it has to be with yourself. And going back to basics, that's all about. And how you get back to the basics is, it was said about the people. It's about breathing, it's about Tai Sabak, it's about the basic that probably, yeah, you didn't explain much to your students. You assume that they know it, but then you start to reflect, see other people doing it on Zoom or videos. Now there are lots of YouTube videos. So it's inspiring in the same time, because of this self-isolation, we try to get out more ourselves and to share more. And that's fantastic. As before, like Wendy said, there was more sort of competition. Yeah, the doors were not open all the time from one association to another, or memberships, insurances. Make sure you bring your insurance with you. Blah blah. Now it's not. Insurance are up in the air, so we take the risk by connecting. Yeah, which is great. I think that some barriers are down, so we can focus on positives, and we can find lots of positives in all and opportunities actually. And to our opportunities, yes, we try to create a group of dojo at home. Aiki Dojo at Home is on Facebook. It's for connecting teachers, instructors with students, because at the moment we have websites or rather Facebook pages for students only or for instructors only. We try to create the bridge. So basically we just try to promote whoever has a class on Zoom or live on Facebook or YouTube videos. They can post there and everybody can see and can join in, or can just practice as they see. So yeah, sorry.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Adrian.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe we forgot to check if they were all insured. God, what a risk we took.
Uh-oh. What have we done, Quentin? Well, it's, it feels like we all just want to hang out. It's so wonderful to be together. It's been more than a few hours, but maybe we'll do, we had some more senseis that we really could, and countries to talk with. Maybe we'll organize a next one of these in a little while. I know they wanted to participate, so we'll see what we can do if you're interested. I wanted to share one thing, is I'm just making a video about this soon. I'm writing a book, and you all have sort of reminded me of this, that there's a Jewish proverb that says we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, that we should listen twice as much as we speak. So I don't know, I'm Jewish, I don't know we follow that enough, but it's been great listening to everybody. But what's so interesting is if we think about, we do have 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 legs, the things we have 2 of, and the things we have 1 of. And the things that we have 1 of are all on our center line, right? We have sort of our spirit, our crown chakra, if you want to talk about as chakras or energy centers, but we have our minds and our thoughts and our wisdom. We have our communication, our mouth or throat. We have our heart intelligence, and just our heart. And we get down to our belly and to our root chakras, and down to that strong core, that strong center column that unites the left, the right, both ears, the both hands. And it's really about that centering practice and having all of those things aligned, what we think, what we feel, what we express, and to come from a real grounded, deep core, deep belly power. So, it feels like the invitation, the opportunity right now is to really be in our strong core and to really align, and from that place to reach out and to connect with each other. So thank you for being on the center line, on the center Aikido line together. Just thank you all so much. This really has been a beautiful gathering, and thanks Quentin, thanks Robert and Aiki Extensions for helping that to happen, and just one and all, thank you for kind of responding, and I hope that we can continue to grow this and to support each other, because there's a lot of positivity, and the truth is it's difficult. These are really tough times, challenging times. We've got both sides of that. And if we can stay together in that center, I think we can stay in the present and move to a better future.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to Jamie for reaching out to so many people and making this happen. Quentin, of course, for having the platform for it, but Jamie did a lot of work.
Yep.
So
she did. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei.
If you would like something like this to happen again, what would be really interesting to
Thank
know
you, Jamie.
would be, what would you like to see presented on that sort of session? So if we bring people from around the world together, what topic could we cover? Bill, do you want to unmute yourself, or do you want me to do it for you?
Yeah, I'm unmuted. And the thing that's dear to my heart is the opportunity that so many people mentioned. And for once, parents and children are at home, available and hungry for something that makes sense. Aiki makes sense. That's something we could all do, but we need more tools.
Okay, great. Okay, guys, then I'm going to formally close the room and thank you once again for coming.
Quentin, one subject maybe. I would like to hear more about countries that we, at least here, I don't hear much, and what they're doing. Like this fire is talking about what's happening in East Africa or in Kenya, what's happening there, and what kind of solutions they're having. We also hear in some communities they have solutions that are very fantastic solutions, ways of organizing. So I think this would be a good topic as non-Aikido practitioners doing like Aiki principles in their communities and doing things that could be not from us, but from all over the world. We can see principles being applied and applied.
We could put together a session of what we call applied Aikido. So people who are taking their Aikido skills off the mat and using it in their professional lives. We've got quite a few connections in that direction, and we could bring them together and they could talk about the work they're doing. How would that sound?
That would sound good.
Do you want thumbs up from people if that sounds interesting?
I want to emphasize what Victor just said. This is a fantastic opportunity to reach out to new people. Not only applied Aikido is one subject, but the other subject is how do we appeal to other people? I mean, to show the breadth of what Aikido is. It's not only throwing each other on the ground. That may be scary to some people. But what we find is that family members or friends that are watching people taking a class, all of a sudden they jump on the mat because it wasn't that bad. And it's interesting, and I'm bored, and this is more interesting, and then actually joining. So we're reaching a whole bunch of new people. So how do we get out there to the people who haven't heard of Aikido? And how do we attract new? So I'm thinking of this is one of the steps we do for the post-COVID era is recruiting new members now that we can reach new people. So that would be an excellent.
That sounds like a great weekly session. Actually, that might be something that we bring in as a topic to debate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we've been going now for 2 hours 20. So I think it's time to say good night here. So you're a fantastic lot. Thank you so much for making this so good. Bye, one and all.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Arigato.
Bye. Bye.
Stay well, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
No, don't go.
We're going.
I know. We don't want to go. We just want to hang out. It's so beautiful.
Now.